Myself, Dr. Hanuman Prasad Pandiri. I am working as an assistant professor in the Department of Chemistry at Institute of Aeronautical Engineering, IARE, which is located at Dundigal. The topic that I am going to discuss is from Module 5, Gender and Culture. And the name of the topic that I am going to present in today's session is Gender and Popular Literature Part 2. The contents that I am going to discuss as a part of this topic are exploration of challenges to traditional gender roles and stereotypes, intersectionality and its influence on gender roles and stereotypes, analysis of gender roles and stereotypes in popular contemporary works, impact of gender roles and stereotypes in literature, and the influence of society and culture on gender roles in literature. And finally, references. Let's look at each and every content in detail. First of all, exploration of challenges to traditional gender norms. Exploration of challenges. Challenges to what? To traditional gender norms. Okay. Let's see. What are the challenges that were explored in the literature? Okay. Contemporary literature presents a significant exploration of challenges to traditional gender roles and stereotypes. So these gender roles and stereotypes, in one word you can say gender norms. So challenges to traditional gender norms or traditional gender roles and stereotypes. Authors are increasingly using their works to question and subvert societal expectations placed on individuals based on their gender. For instance, in Beloved, Toni Morrison challenges the notion of motherhood as a purely nurturing role by depicting Sete, the protagonist grappling with the complexities of her identity as a mother who kills her own child to protect her from slavery. So, in Beloved novel, Toni Morrison challenges, Toni Morrison is the writer of this Beloved novel, who challenges the notion of motherhood as a purely nurturing role by depicting Sete, the protagonist grappling with the complexities of her identity as a mother who kills her own child to protect her from slavery. Means this is a challenge to traditional gender norms. You can clearly understand. So this is one of the explorations of challenges to traditional gender norms. This was given in the novel Beloved, written by Toni Morrison. Okay. And this exploration challenges the stereotype that women are solely responsible for caregiving and demonstrates the multifaceted nature of motherhood. Okay. So it has overcome or it has challenged this kind of traditional gender norm. Okay. So I hope you understood what type of gender norm is challenged here. Okay. Don't stick to just one thing even though it is bad. If it is bad, just get rid from it. Don't say that it is gender norm, you must have to do it. If it is bad, just get away from it. If it is good, get into it. Okay. So that is the strategy that one has to follow. And in continuation of exploration of challenges to traditional gender norms, additionally, authors are delving into topics such as homosexuality, non-binary identities, and transgender experiences to challenge binary gender roles and also traditional notions of masculinity and femininity. As you know that these two terms, masculinity and femininity, are the sexual terms, are the gender terms. and male and female are the sexual terms, right? So in Stone Butch Blues, which is written by Leslie Feinberg, the protagonist challenges traditional gender roles by identifying as a butch lesbian while navigating through socio-economic marginalization of and discrimination. So, in the novel Stone Butch Blues, which is written by Leslie Feinberg, the protagonist challenges traditional gender roles by identifying as a butch lesbian while navigating through socio-economic marginalization and also discrimination. Which discrimination? Gender discrimination. Okay. So this novel sheds light on the intersectionality between gender identity, sexual orientation, and class, thereby challenging the stereotypical gender roles that are imposed by society. Okay. So the protagonist in this novel, Stone Butch Blues, which is written by Leslie Feinberg, has challenged the traditional gender roles by identifying as a butch lesbian. So she mentioned that I also have equal rights. So irrespective of her lesbianity. Okay. So that means that so all the gender have the equal rights. So that is what she mean to say. Okay. So she challenged that gender norm. So that is the exploration of challenges to gender norms. So these are the examples. Okay. And in continuation, the next concept is intersectionality and its influence on traditional gender norms. Let's see. The concept of intersectionality plays a crucial role in understanding the complexities of gender roles and stereotypes in contemporary literature. Okay? So, the concept of intersectionality, this concept we are discussing, this plays a crucial role in understanding the complexities of each gender and corresponding stereotypes in contemporary literature. And intersectionality recognizes that individuals have multiple identities and experiences that intersect and interact with one another, shaping their experiences of gender. Okay? So there can be any intersection, there can be any interaction with one another to shape their experiences of gender. So there is nothing wrong in it. This intersectionality influences the portrayal of gender roles and stereotypes in literature as authors explore the experiences of individuals who face overlapping forms of oppression and marginalization. Some people have mixed gender. Okay? Bisexual, we can say. Okay? So in LGBT, so L means lesbian, G means gay, B means bisexual, T means transgender. So especially intersectionality means bisexual. So this kind of intersectionality will definitely influence the traditional gender norms. Means they also have the equal rights irrespective of their bisexuality. Okay? Means they cannot do anything. They born like that. So they must be given the equal priority among all the gender types. Okay? I hope you understood how the intersectionality can influence the traditional gender norms. In continuation, for example, in the novel Citizen, an American Lyric, which is written by Claudia Rankine, who examines the intersectionality of race, gender, and social status by highlighting microaggressions and systematic racism experienced by black women, especially black women. Even though she is from some other African country, but she is a citizen of American. Okay. So that is how she overcome the traditional gender norms. She challenged the traditional gender norms. One must have to notice it. So that means she proposed gender equality and she won. She won it. And one must do the fight for the justice always. Don't go back. Okay? Don't look back. So if you are doing the good, always look forward. And you always have to move forward so that you will success. Okay? Through her powerful poetry, Rankine challenges the stereotypical portrayal of black women, emphasizing their resilience and agency in the face of societal discrimination. And this kind of discrimination is called racism. Okay? So no one should be exposed to racism. Okay, color discrimination should not be there, gender discrimination should not be there, gender equality must be there to achieve 100% gender sensitization. So one must think in this orientation and one must take steps in this orientation and one must achieve gender sensitization to get gender equality. Okay. Furthermore, contemporary literature often incorporates diverse perspectives and voices, amplifying the experiences of marginalized genders and challenging traditional gender roles. Marginalized genders means, as I said, LGBT, which are considered as marginalized gender roles: lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender. Okay, these are considered as marginalized gender category. So, and challenging traditional gender roles. Okay, so that is what is one of the explorations of traditional gender norms. Okay, so now let's continue. Works such as An Ember in the Ashes by Saba Tahir and Freshwater by Akwek Emezi offer narratives that go beyond the binary gender roles and explore non-binary and fluid gender identities. Okay? They go beyond the binary gender roles and they have explored the non-binary and fluid gender identities. Okay? They explored in their novels. An Ember in the Ashes by Saba Tahir and Freshwater by Akwek Emezi. And one more example, Rahman analyzed the representation of gender in contemporary young adult novels and found that intersectionality was crucial in understanding the nuanced portrayal of gender roles and stereotypes. So this intersectionality was crucial in understanding nuanced portrayal of gender roles and stereotypes. Okay. Additionally, Pownall conducted a comparative analysis of contemporary poetry collections and highlighted how intersectionality influenced the representation of gender, race means color, and sexuality means whether they are male or female in all these works. Okay, there are three things mentioned in this literature here, especially An Ember in the Ashes by Saba Tahir and Freshwater by Akwek Emezi, and also Pownall conducted comparative analysis of this kind of contemporary poetry collections and highlighted how intersectionality influences the representation of gender, racism, sexuality in all these novels or works. Okay, I hope you understood how the intersectionality can influence the traditional gender norms. Okay, now let's look at the next content, analysis of these traditional challenges and analysis how to overcome those traditional challenges to gender norms. Okay, in this section the authors selected a range of contemporary works to explore the representation of gender roles and stereotypes. Okay, so what they analyzed? They analyzed a range of contemporary works to explore the representation of gender roles and gender stereotypes. These works include, so some of the examples are taken here: The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood, Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn, and The Fault in Our Stars by John Green. These are the works which include this kind of analysis of traditional gender norms and challenging them. Okay, Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood, second one Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn, and third work or third novel The Fault in Our Stars by John Green, which offer a unique perspective on gender roles and stereotypes, allowing for a comprehensive analysis. They allowed a comprehensive analysis of the challenges to traditional gender norms. In The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood, who challenges traditional gender roles by presenting a dystopian society where women are reduced to their reproductive abilities. Okay, so in the novel Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood, so Margaret Atwood challenged the traditional gender roles. How he challenged it? By presenting a dystopian society where women are reduced to their reproductive abilities. Okay, and the protagonist afraid, is forced into the role of a handmaid solely for the purpose of bearing children. Okay, in this novel, so the protagonist afraid is forced into the role of handmaid solely for the purpose of bearing children. Okay, Atwood uses this extreme scenario to highlight the oppressive nature of gender roles and the harmful effect they can have on individuals. So this kind of opposing nature of gender roles and the harmful effects they can have on individuals. One should not force the other because all the genders are equal. No gender is superior, no gender is inferior. Okay, so there must be gender equality. So in order to achieve gender sensitization, one must think in this direction. One must be matured enough to think about all these issues. Okay, so that is what is the analysis said by all these works: Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood, Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn, and The Fault in Our Stars by John Green. So that is what is mentioned here. Okay, and in continuation, in Gone Girl by Flynn, who subverts gender stereotypes by portraying the complex and manipulative character of Amy Dunne, who uses her intelligence and cunning to manipulate those around her and challenging the traditional portrayal of women as passive and emotionally driven. She challenged the traditional portrayal of women as emotional and passive. So she wants to prove that women are also active, women are also strong enough, sensitively, they are not much sensitive. They can also face many situations which are sensitive. Okay, means they are strong. Okay, so that is what they mean to say. Okay, once again, in Gone Girl novel, the author Flynn subverts gender stereotypes by portraying the complex and manipulative character of Amy Dunne, who uses her intelligence and cunning to manipulate those around her by challenging the traditional portrayal of women as passive and emotionally driven. Okay, and Flynn's novel explores, what is the Flynn's novel? Gone Girl. Just now I told you, Gone Girl. This is the Flynn's novel. It also explores the impact of societal expectations on individual behavior and how gender roles can be internalized. Okay, And The Fault in Our Stars, the next novel, which is written by John Green, examines gender roles and stereotypes through the characterization of Hazel and Augustus Waters. Hazel and Augustus Waters. Two teenagers dealing with serious health issues, even though they challenged the traditional gender norms. So, what are the names of those two characters in the novel? Hazel and Augustus Waters. Both are the teenagers dealing with serious health issues. Okay, so about them, John Green have explored and their issues, how they faced the issues and how they challenged the issues to overcome them. And Green presents Hazel as a thoughtful and intelligent young woman who defies the stereotype of a helpless and dependent cancer patient. Okay? Who defies the stereotype of a helpless and dependent cancer patient. Okay? She overcome the serious health issue by fighting against the traditional gender norms. Okay? And one more role, Augustus on the other hand challenges the stereotype of masculinity by emotionally vulnerable and expressive. How the another woman, Augustus, challenged the traditional gender norms? So she challenged the stereotype of masculinity by being emotionally vulnerable, means emotionally dependent. So she is not emotional on herself, emotionally dependent. If somebody is forcing, then only emotional, okay? And also expressive. So that is how she overcome the stereotype of masculinity. And she also became equal as par with men. Okay? By breaking free from traditional gender expectations, John Green highlights the importance of individuality and authenticity. Okay? By breaking free from traditional gender expectations, John Green highlights the importance of individual gender and their authenticity. Okay? So, these are the issues and analysis mentioned in the literature. And the next content is impact of all these things on the challenges to traditional gender norms. The findings of this study suggest that literature plays a significant role in shaping societal gender norms. Through the analysis of contemporary literary works, it becomes evident that gender roles and stereotypes are not only reinforced but also sometimes challenged and questioned. Okay? For instance, in the novel The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood, the female characters are described as submissive and oppressed. Means they depend on the higher authority decisions, and oppressed means they just follow them blindly. Reinforcing traditional gender roles, they strengthen the traditional gender roles. Reinforcing means strengthening. This depiction can have a subtle impact on readers by subconsciously reinforcing existing gender norms. So, in Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood, the female characters depicted as submissive and oppressed, reinforcing the traditional gender roles. So, this will impact the traditional gender norms. The readers will especially observe it. Okay? Then they also feel that we also have to be like this in the society. So that kind of impact will be there if we show traditional gender norms. So the novel must be focused on different challenges to face traditional gender norms in the right way. Okay? A study conducted by Mola Group on this impact analyzed the prevalence of gender stereotypes in children's literature and found that traditional gender roles were heavily represented. So all of them have traditional gender roles. So this will have serious impact on the readers. Okay. So this indicates that literature even targeted at a young audience can play a significant role in perpetuating societal gender norms. Okay. That means some traditional gender norms are mentioned here. So the reader will definitely think on, oh, these are the traditional gender norms. One must overcome them. One must challenge them. The reader will think about it. So this will have particularly a significant impact on the reader. Okay. So to challenge the traditional gender norms. Okay. And in continuation, how it will influence the traditional gender norms. The findings of this study reveal that social norms and expectations significantly influence the portrayal of gender in literature. Okay? Literature often reflects the prevailing societal beliefs about gender, reinforcing and perpetuating traditional gender roles and stereotypes. For instance, the study found that female characters in contemporary works were frequently depicted as nurturing, emotional, and subordinate to male characters. Okay? They are nurturing. Nurturing means providing services. And emotional means they are sensitive, too much sensitive. And subordinate. Subordinate means they are giving services under somebody, under the authority of higher officials. Okay? To male characters, especially to male characters. So they will definitely influence the traditional gender norms because the reader will think, the reader is not simply blindly following it. The reader will definitely think over it. So it will definitely influence the traditional gender norms. So it will definitely influence the reader's mind to challenge those traditional gender norms. Okay? This aligns with the societal expectation of women as caregivers and emotional beings, according to traditional gender norms as per the society perception. Okay, so this behavior aligns with this. So it will definitely influence such that reader will definitely take a step to challenge these traditional gender norms. Okay, and moreover, the study identified a trend of male characters being portrayed as assertive, dominant, and career oriented, aligning with traditional societal expectations of men as breadwinners and leaders. Okay, they can earn their own bread, their own food, and they can be the leaders. So these are all the traditional gender norms, right? Or traditional societal expectations of men and women. Okay, so in previous content or slide, I have explained the traditional societal expectation of women, and in this slide, I am explaining the traditional societal expectation of men. Okay, and examples from contemporary works such as Great Gatsby, F. Scott, F. Scott Fitzgerald, F. Scott Fitzgerald support this finding where the male protagonist J. Gatsby is portrayed as ambitious and successful. Okay, so portrayed as ambitious and successful means he has certain aim and he succeeded in achieving that aim. While female characters are mostly portrayed as objects of desire or asmal on classic literary works. Means they have expressed the traditional gender roles, or traditional gender norms, or traditional societal expectations of men and women. Okay? So which demonstrated similar gender stereotypes, emphasizing the influence of social norms on gender portrayal in literature across different time periods. Okay? So one must think to challenge all these kind of gender norms, as I have explained in the previous slides. Okay? So that is how the gender and popular literature exist as a part of gender sensitization. Okay? So This is given in the module of gender and culture. Okay, so one must read this literature and one must think how to challenge the traditional gender norms. Apart from some challenges that were already mentioned in the novels and already faced by certain people, okay, then only we can achieve gender equality and gender sensitization. Okay, I hope you all understood how the popular literature regarding the gender will influence and impact the traditional gender norms and the challenges to face those traditional gender norms. Okay, one must have awareness on this and one must think to achieve gender equality and gender sensitization. And the references I followed were Gender Studies by Kadambari and Gender Sensitization by Rajalakshmi Kalyani, and author Ajmal have written Deconstructing Gender Stereotypes in Children Literature, Choti C. Munni, which mentioned an application of feminist theory. It is published in International Journal of Childhood, Counseling and Special Education. Okay, so I suggest all of you to go through these references, and thank you very much for your kind attention and all the very best.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.